Right. Here we are. We are recording. Jai Baba. First Friday in May. May 3rd. All right. So over to you, Etzion.
Hey, where Lutfi vanished.
She vanished. She'll come back. I'll bet.
Yeah, I wanted to interview her about her Egyptian experience, and we shared a few emails before that, and maybe we'll discuss it a little bit.
Wonderful.
The
Hi,
situation, the
good to see
situation in Egypt, and it's very interesting what's going on in this big country.
Interesting is
Oh,
one.
here's Lutfi again. Lutfi, by the way, you would like to share a few anecdotes from your recent trip to Egypt?
What can I say about anecdotes?
How Egypt is doing, what it feels like.
Like everywhere else in the world, people tend to be glued to television and the news and the latest. And some follow some of these news that circulate as predictions of this and that. But this is the case everywhere as well. No, I wouldn't say anything special.
I see.
But you can ask me and I can reply. But nothing comes to mind now.
Egypt is involved with the border. Is that right? With the problem in Gaza. Is
Yes,
Yes.
I have no idea which direction it's going to go.
Okay.
It
It's
hasn't
very
been brought up when I was there with the few people I was around with.
Yeah.
Etzion, your
Yes.
last session, you mentioned something about the clash of the Advents, and
Yes.
that really struck me.
That's what's happening here. Behind the veil, humans don't see it. So politics really don't have no understanding whatsoever what's going on here. But that's my understanding. Well, from where I got this supposedly understanding, I didn't get it from anyone. It is due to my the training the Baba gave me. I didn't ask for anything, of course, from him, and he gave me the necessary insights to understand what's going on, more or less, so I will be able to handle the situation according to his plan, how to deal with the situation. Because what I've been doing, of course, has nothing to do external. It's nothing to do with, it's not political. It's not in the news. It's a silent work. The silent work already from the right away since Baba walked into my life, he started to train me how to deal with sanskars and how to erase them. A decade before even I heard the word sanskars, because when he came to me, I was bound with endless, unbelievable issues which I didn't know how to handle it too. And he started to teach me how to deal with this. He was dealing with this according to the nature of my resignation. That was the issue. As soon as I surrendered to him, he started his work. Not a minute before that, only after I surrendered, and according to the nature of that surrenderance, this marked the entire course of my life. Whatsoever I told him, I had this one moment of absolute honesty. There was no other choice because he let me experience who he is in the flesh. I told this a few times, what happened, and wanted to serve his cause. What I told him, I cannot say. Why? I would say it will encourage people to take the plunge because it comes this. We have to accept the deal. It was not a picnic, to say the least. Dealing with most complicated, troublesome, tremendous amount of suffering from the beginning of creation till now. And this suffering came in the form of all kinds of beasts and devils, which would come out of my own subconsciousness. And I was thinking that's who I am. But he let me dwell with all these ideas that I am, that's me, which is possible, but only after many years, after many, many years, let's say every 10 years of consistent work on working on sanskaras, eventually it became a mechanism. But to establish that mechanism that this would flow took me about 15 years, from 76 till 91, about 15 years, till I started to have some basic understanding how to work. And part of this work would need to go to Meherabad to sit in the samadhi and empty all this sanskara which I was absorbing the Middle East sanskara, all these evil things, and place it to him. And as I said before, he cannot erase sanskaras unless we give it to him, and not, and he, in order that he will be willing to deal with this, it depends on the nature of our surrenderance, because people come to him to relieve them from their personal burden, to throw their burden on him. And my response to him that I want to share his burden, not to add my burden on him. And that was the whole point. He presumably likes the idea that a small little me, a speck of cosmic dust, wants to help the Almighty. I think he gave him a chuckle. This got many years later. But that was my very sincere and honest attitude to help the Lord. And because I wanted to help him, he helped. It's like holding the rope on both sides. And without his work of erasing sanskaras, you wouldn't be seeing me here. Most likely I wouldn't be in this sphere of things. What I had to deal with was not humane. I cannot say more than this. While I'm saying it at all, if I cannot go to details, to encourage that I know that what is being said about him. And I know that he is much more than what he said and what is being said about him from personal experience. Part of this I was telling in my skits, these fictional stories supposedly, but if you will read it, there are all kinds of messages I was hiding between the lines.
Etzion, can you say more about the Susan's question, what was it, Clash of the Advents?
Yes. Clash of the Advents?
Or it's not your word, I don't think, but
yes.
Yeah.
What's happening now in the Middle East, it's a clash of, I believe, all the Advents, the past 7,000 years, maybe more. We humans decided to improve the garden, the creation, which was not perfect, according to the simile I used to give, which has been my experience. As soon as Baba walked into my life in 1972, I started to study music. This impulse came to me. Before that, total zero, total refusal to study music, total refusal to study anything. As soon as Baba walked into my life, I wanted to study whatsoever he wants me to study. And he started to teach me whatsoever I need to know. And then I was directed here, directed there, and studied music. And after decades of training, musical training, what eventually came to my mind, and I wrote an article about this, that music, the musical band, is the closest simile or example of a spiritual circle. And now, during 1973, 1974, Baba came to me 72. 73, we had this devastating war between Israel and Egypt and Syria. Both of these countries were determined to destroy Israel already from 1947 and before that. That's a long story, unfortunate. We can get into this. It's an unhappy story, but this is a part of the clash of the Advents. And what came to me at that time, he gave me this explanation, I told it before, this insight, which was not so nice to receive, that I am the cause of this war. And myself was just a very humble soldier of the army, a person with no influence whatsoever, and nobody was talking to me. So how could it be? And I was wondering about this. I didn't do anything. And in order to understand this statement of the Lord, I had to make some personal pondering over the past 10,000 years at least. So many attempts have been made to heal humanity, and everything fell apart, one after another, all of them. All the advents were successful, and all the advents were failures. They were successful that we are still around. Against the law of karma, we exist. This is success because this shows only the avatar can do it. The perfect masters, they gave up on us. And it is hinted in the Hebrew Bible that the Lord is saying, I regret creating humanity. And everything in the book of Genesis and Exodus, everything is true. I went through the whole thing. You can trust what
Excuse
I'm
me,
saying.
what is that
Yes.
quote? I regret, where is that from?
The Lord said in Genesis, I think it was before the flood, I
Uh-huh.
regret creating humanity. Humanity became pure evil. He said, all of humanity is pure evil. All the thoughts are only bad thoughts, only about the lust and greed and control and destructiveness. So they were destroying the whole planet because our thoughts, our bad thoughts, solidify in this world, although science doesn't understand what it means. They started to have a tinge of idea while they're investigating the quantum world. Quantum world is solidification of, we have created this, we are the gods because we have the power of thinking, power of creation. But we totally forgot about this, that we are the gods who created this world. And Baba is saying, I didn't create this world because we did. And when we blame God, where is he? About this picture, he has nothing to do with it. He gave us the scaffolding, and we have to create humanity, the spiritual humanity, to flesh it up with the spirit, and not to be just talking animals, as they call us. Baba call us talking animals. Anyway, the next insight I got after he gave me this harsh awakening that I'm responsible for everything. Whatsoever I see in the world, it has been my own creation. It's inside myself. Whatsoever, there's nothing external to us. It's only everything inside our mind. I'm inside you, you are inside me. That's why we see each other. And you can look at it in the logic of all this supposedly light, and the mechanism of the eyes and the brain and all this. If you go deep inside, we see and experience each other somewhere inside our mind. And all these openings are some kind of gates. The whole thing is, in a way, is all illusion of separateness. And we have to get out of this. And while receiving this harsh rebuke or awakening, badly needed, he gave me also the insight how to heal the world. He didn't give me this reprimand or awakening or harsh awakening or a kick in the butt or whatever you call it to abuse, but to heal. He's a healer. He's not judging and he's not complaining about us. He wants to help us. And the way to do it is to recreate the spiritual circles. Now, 1973, 74, what do I know about spiritual circles? He gave me the insight. A group of people are centered on the divine beloved who work together with harmony. And today, the closest simile is a musical band. You take a musical band. I'm playing in a musical band here in Haifa. It's a wind band. And my role is to play the bassoon. We are two bassoon players, and the size of the orchestra is between 20 to 40. It depends. It's changing all the time. People come and go, and not all everybody's coming, but it's a nice band. We play pretty considerably good, and we have very able conductors. And the whole point is, spiritual circle must to have a focus. Somebody must to be responsible and give the directions. Now, what's happening with spiritual people? They don't like to be told. They don't like a point of focus. And this is part of the complaints, what I told the last session about the Sufis. Oh, we have this kind of organizations, they're giving orders. Only Baba can give us orders. Totally wrong. I once asked myself, and when I asked myself, is as if I placed it before Baba. So many people came to him, hundreds and thousands of people. How many altogether who came close to him in person? 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, who really had a personal contact, personal acquaintance with him. They saw it. They gave them a banana, he gave them a flower, he touched them, he looked at them. Hundreds of thousands of people during a lifespan, 500,000 for sure. And from all this tremendous amount of humanity, only 4 people, 4 disciples, stood with him at Manunash, at the cross. Like the disciple of Jesus, only in the crucifixion, no, they all ran away. That's a different story. And eventually, one disciple came, and the mother and his Radha, Mary, mother and Mary, and John the Beloved, who gave the no the revelation. He was supposed to be the leading disciple, and Peter and Paul pushed him aside, and they grabbed the cake for themselves, and the rest is invented this so-called Christianity, etc., etc. That's another sad story.
Does that say in the Bible?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that in the Bible or the Torah? How
No,
Peter?
it's in the New Testament.
Oh,
In
okay.
the New Testament, and there are all kinds of people. I was reading here and there all kinds of issues about this. What happens there? Unfortunately, they didn't have time. They didn't have 43, 44 years to have acquaintance with the Lord. He didn't have time because
Right.
why he didn't have time? He had to deal with spiritual karmic tsunami. That's my understanding. It's not written anyway, which was supposed to hit humanity when all the karma of the world, the sanskaras are growing bigger and bigger, story and story, in a negative way. And what I described as a cosmic engine was about to explode. It's like a steam engine. If there's no valve, no outlet to direct the power of the steam, it will explode. And that's the purpose of humanity, to direct the powers in the earthly sphere, so things will go more or less correctly. And we are not doing it. We decided that we refuse to do it. So that's the reason for all this amazing, tremendous suffering on earth, which doesn't stop. The record goes, according to science, 12,000 years. We cannot stop killing each other. We don't stop for one moment. 12,000 years, that's a diagnosis of science. Cannot stop killing each other. There was not a day we didn't kill a person here on earth. That's what's happening here, unfortunately. And of course, in order to stop all this, we have to create the spiritual circles. Otherwise, it's not going to help. We want peace. We want peace without spirituality. We want spiritual, all kinds of movements and spiritual people. We want to re-establish peace, but they want self-centered peace. They totally detached, devoid of the spiritual purpose of humanity, which is to direct the physical creation. We, humanity, is supposed to create God on earth. Last session on Thursday, we spoke about God. There was a talk about God. I didn't want to say anything. They didn't want to, they didn't feel I should interfere, interject, or I'm not completely acquainted with what's going on there. Reading with the latest Baba book, which not sure who understands what's going on with this. I think it's something close to infinite intelligence. I made myself read the whole book, and I didn't understand the book at all, to be honest. But Baba giving such things in order to overwhelm the human mind, most likely, to tell us that
Which
we.
book? I'm sorry, which book is it? Creation and its Causes? That's
Yes,
your,
yes,
right,
yes.
okay.
That's a recent book.
Hmm.
I didn't get it, but I'm listening to the talks of World Parks about this. World Parks is a leading figure about this and infinite intelligence. Many years in Mehrabad, he gave me the disc of infinite intelligence before it was released to the public for my work, supposedly because I was dealing also with World Parks, with my translation, etc. I've had all these dealings with the trust, etc., etc., etc. I'll try to change the PDF of this book. I doubtful if I will receive it, but I'll try. I'm having difficulties. I feel more comfortable to open a PDF and I can enlarge it and look at it, and it's much easier to read. And I was willing to pay for it. I don't know what's the point of printing books if any person can download the PDF and read it. The trust has been doing wonderful work. Everything is being online. And to buy a book from United States here, it costs double. If it costs $75, it would cost $150 altogether in order to ship it. It becomes very expensive. So the whole thing doesn't make sense. So it doesn't matter. Anyway, back to our work. We want peace on earth. We have to reestablish a spiritual circle. This is a spiritual circle now. Here, we are doing all this. How come we are doing all this? We, all of us, have our own personal centering in the divine beloved. That's why we are here. Each one of us depends to our understanding and resignation or whatever, if not, or whether we take his name once a day or once a year or once an hour, it doesn't matter. As long as we have some awareness that he is whatever he is. And we work here with relative harmony. We never had so far, I think it's the 15th meeting and there was no uproar, no nothing adverse. Even I encouraged it. Rather people splash their frustrations here and not to the world, because we can deal with this just the same as healers. The purpose of healers is to negate some scars. That's the real work of healers, if they know what they're doing. And if they don't know what they're doing, they will get involved with, get attached to these deadly scars of the patients. And I know, at least I had two cases, two people I know that they got very sick because they were posing as healers. I had some training in healing. It was not nothing to do with the healing of the body, but giving the person the opportunity, he will heal himself. That's the whole point. We have to take responsibility and heal ourselves and become a whole people centered in the divine beloved, willing to work together in harmony. And this is a key to redeem humanity. Nothing else is going to work, nothing, politics, peace process, it's all nonsense. It's not going to happen. It's not going to work. And the whole world is in turmoil. Like this stupid war now in between Israel and the Hamas supporters. This is a diversion. I said, well, Mayor ordered me not to deal with politics, but I'm going on the edges a little bit. This has nothing to do with politics, because I'm not pro, but this is a diversion. Before, a few months before that, American, Saudi Arabia, and India, they wanted to make a direct line from India to Israel with a train to send goods directly, goods and pipelines of gas and oil direct to Europe, and to skip the Suez Canal and to skip Russia. So all these powers, China, Iran, Russia, and others, were instigating this Hamas, these people have no concern whatsoever if all Gazans will die tomorrow morning. The Hamas leader have no regard whatsoever for human lives. I know what they're doing. I was involved in the Israeli army. They force the people to stand on the roofs and to get killed, and then they film them. We know what's going on there. The world doesn't understand it. Of course, it's a very sad thing. Nobody is happy about this. We want. Israel has been trying to find a way to get along with Arabic problem, but so far there's no solution for this. The solutions should be spiritual and not physical. All physical attempts to heal humanity are doomed to failure. It's not going to happen, and it cannot happen. And the purpose of war, and this is the way I understood, because I went to many wars. I went to many wars under Baba's directive, under his direction, in his presence. And at that time, the 70s and early 80s, his presence for me was almost physical. And I was going to wars under his directive. This is a long story. I cannot tell you anything about this, but the purpose, as I will understand, why there are wars. While going to wars, I realized, I experienced the destruction of sanskars. This is what I understood. And already at that time, I knew that nobody dies. And this is only the phenomenon of war is a mirror for us, spiritual people, that we are not doing the work. I'm sure nobody will going to be a popular person because of this statement. I don't care about being popular or not, because I know this is the truth. The wars will continue. That's what I understood from him as a mirror to us, that we are not doing the works. Not in a sense of blame. I don't blame anyone. I'm just telling this is a fact. And it's not going to change. Whatsoever humans are going to do with the United Nations, the peace process, everything is doomed to fail a bit, because they don't know how to negate sanskaras. The evil sanskaras are only growing, because people are there more and more selfishness and more destructiveness inside the human mind. It's getting only worse and worse. And the humanity should have supposed to create what we call spiritual government, which is based on the principles of the spiritual circle, to change and to negate these sanskaras and redirect humanity to its proper course and mitigate all these evil energies. And we don't have this mechanism. So we thrust it on the perfect masters and the avatar. Okay, are doing the work. The avatar can negate any sanskara of the universe. So for the whole universe, for him, this divine being can cope with anything. The perfect masters presumably cannot, but he can. That's why they bring him down, because he has unlimited capabilities of destroying sanskaras. And I bear witness to this. If you see me, you talk to me, because he can do it. Otherwise, I won't be. I told you this. It's quite frankly. What else you want to deal with? Quite hard, what I was saying in here now. But you see, I just say it cheerfully. Say it. I had to deal with very hard things, and at the same time, I had to put a cheerful face in spite of all these horrible things I had to go through. That's an art. You have to develop it. It's not easy.
That's right. And Baba made it so it would not be easy. There is a struggle,
Yes.
and with Baba's grace and hard work and lots of time to practice radically accepting so many things and having compassion for people who do things that are painful, we get more skillful to just accept so many things that we wonder why it's happening, but the karma unfolds.
Yeah. We learn to accept it with compassion, and when I get involved with all these sanskaras or situation, Then I was just trying to give it to him. Everything I have to encapsulate it, like put it in an envelope and mail it to him. And I'm doing it non-stop around the clock. It's automatic. After many years, decades of training, it became automatic. I'm not aware of it, but in the beginning, the first 15, 20 years, I was very conscious about this process. And I wrote a little article, it's on my website, call it Heart Realm Maintenance. I explained how Bible taught me to do this work. And I said it in the past, and I should say it again. We ask the question, he is almighty, he's capable of why he's not erasing the sanskars by himself? Why he needs a person like me, who I am and what I am? The point is, I'm part of humanity. Baba is not part of humanity. He has nothing to do with this, and he didn't create this world. Even we blame him for this, but he doesn't. He said it quite openly. He has no responsibility whatsoever, but his responsibility is a divine beloved. He's not willing to leave us alone to exterminate ourselves and commit spiritual suicide. Even there are powers in the universe who are opposing us. They are not willing to that all this travesty on earth will continue, because we don't see it. The news is not coming. But if we would open our spiritual ears, and he would hear the cry of creation for help just on this physical planet, we would go insane instantly from the cry, the constant cry of this tremendous suffering of all the elements, from the basic elements to the animals. Yes, we have a garden of myths here. The cats are having a good time here.
Etzion, let me ask you a question, Etzion.
Yes, please.
You could explain this in some detail. The Holocaust, where 4 million Christians and 6 million Jews were murdered. From the little limited understanding, I know this is karma unfolding. It's a group karma unfolding. And when I think about it, of course, I cannot understand it with my limited mind. And I have these words, karma, that they were karmic debts that people need to pay back, must pay back. But how do you understand the Holocaust with the tremendous pain and tremendous suffering? 10 million human beings to go through such a death.
It is much more than this. I once estimated that during the 20th century, close to 500 million human beings passed through excruciating death through wars. You saw only the two big wars, but the endless little wars in between. From 1945 till now, there is an estimation that at least between 60 to 80 million people died in wars. If you add other disasters, natural disasters, the car accidents take 1 million people each year, I think, worldwide. The suffering of humanity is tremendous. And this is just a small part of the real suffering. The perfect master and the avatar, they're dealing with the suffering of the entire creation. The whole creation is a standstill. They cannot move because we block the system. We don't allow a flow of all the individuals to advance on the spiritual path. So what left? That's my understanding, is that during the crucifixion, we made the decision, humanity, when we, the spiritual people, crucified the Lord. Not the Jews or the Romans. Forget this nonsense. Nobody can crucify the Lord. He allowed it to happen. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't have the opportunity of advancing, and we wouldn't have all this chain of perfect masters and advanced souls the past 2,000 years. They wouldn't be able to achieve the goal if he won't do this. He left the door of opportunity, of achieving the perfection open. And we humans are doing our best to slam the door. And he keeps it open. That's why he has to come again and again. But we don't understand that behind all this, since spiritual, the main issue for creating spiritual circles happened during the advent of Moses. Moses was trained by Lord Abraham. Lord Abraham was the avatar. He came, as I said, during Thursday, we have the meetings and we are reading the interpretation I wrote under Baba's directive of the book of Genesis and the book of Exodus. And there are other revelations which never told before. And our great rabbis, interpreters, and the sages, they never spoke about this in such a way.
The samskaras are so difficult to unknot, and
Yes,
we understand for thousands and thousands and thousands, maybe tens of thousands of years, man, from the days of the cave bear, where, I mean, just, hunting, surviving, fighting, but it's thousands
yes,
and thousands I mean, thousands of years, way before Abraham and Moses even. And the karma is so violently, karmically twisted. Is there any way
yes,
that
there is a way. Re-establishing spiritual circles. And we are not doing it. The grand opportunity was during the time of Moses in the basic spiritual circles. And we know it from Baba and others, masters. They have 12 disciples, and these 12 disciples represent the 12 basic mental states of humanity. When they work on these 12 people, they work on the mentality of the entire humanity and the entire creation. This is the role of the perfect master. So when the avatar comes, it is in a much, much grander scale. He can cope with everything. He tells us that perfect masters have this responsibility and no more, and they cannot handle everything. That's why they have to bring him down. And he said it, and Baba said, it's up to him, he won't come here. He's actually fed up with us. He said it in this life. He said to the mandali, you better go away. It would be easier for me to walk. My work would be easier if I would walk incognito. That's what he said. He said it here and there. But he wants us to share, otherwise, no, what's the point of his being here if he's incognito? We would know, we would have this understanding that we have today without his being on the public domain.
Etzion, I don't know if you know how grateful that I am that you have come into our life. I'm just amazed. But on a very small question, you as a human being, you as a Baba lover, you who've been with Baba a long time, do you ever get angry? Do you ever react?
Of course.
Because you do. Because my question is,
You know,
I'm not testing you. I'm asking you, how do you deal with your emotional reactivity?
well, I can say it. I wrote it in this little article. You can enter my website, meirbabaisrael.com, Heart Royal Maintenance. When Baba walked into my lesson depot, I was a what you call fidgety gibbet. I was something like this. Total Mishuganer. And very good that I was a total Mishuganer because I was taught how to cope with and deal with all this. If I would come with any negative karma, if I won't come from ignorance, if I won't do bad things, how would I be able first to enjoy his love and compassion, which is worth all the troubles in the universe. Just to a split of a second of his presence people in experiences. I experienced it in this life. It just gave me a slight experience, which took a fraction of a second because a human being won't be able to receive more than this. I would, if it would continue longer than this, I would simply evaporate. And there was no point, wouldn't be able to do anything. But he grabbed somebody from the street and gave him Baba realization. But I suspect there was most likely, it's not possible that the person receives such a realization, a Baba realization, and within a year or two, he gets such dramatic insights about the nature of the world and how to deal with sanskars. This is not a picnic, and what I had to undergo was very, very, very dramatic and very was not a bed of roses, a bed of thorns, but that was the best deal. I would never change it. Would never change it. The harder, the better, because the lessons to learn are the best.
The Israeli
The more
woman that
course, yes, still.
the Israeli woman you have spoken about here, you had a very close relationship with her. I guess she helped you to become aware of how she had a tremendous influence on you. If
Carrie,
you could,
Carrie, Ben
No,
Shimon.
no, no. Totally the opposite. She was doing her best to drive me away from Baba.
really,
Baba said, Baba started to train me from the very beginning. She played a basic role in my training to be first to keep my mouth shut and not to say a negative word. She was one of the main. This understood only many years later, and she was behaving totally opposite of what you expect from a spiritual person. She was upset. She was getting mad. She was abusing me. I shared 14 years with her, and during these 14 years, even being a person who was supposedly blessed or cursed with sharp tongue, I used to tell the people, hit them direct to the very soul of what I'm thinking about them. I learned to keep my mouth shut and learn, and not to say a word, and not to say a negative word. That was the basic training. It was very dire. Baba used her. She was his complete. She totally resigned to him, on the verge of becoming a mastermind, almost. She was on the verge of losing it because I was sharing very close to her. And for me, it was a grand opportunity of serving her 14 years, bringing to Mirabah, taking care of her of person. And eventually, she had to give me her center, the library, the Baba library, which I still have it here. And once somebody, Baba lover, came to my home many years ago, in the 90s, he looked at what I got in the cabinets, said that here we have one of the most important Baba libraries in the world. We have copies from the 20th and 30s. Baba ordered Elizabeth and Adele Walkin to help carry, and they gave her sent her thousands of all kinds of books, everything which was available. They had to send her under Baba's directives, orders. Baba gave very special concern to Israel, so is Kerry, and some people doubt it. Some person who call himself Baba lover said that Israel is the mistake Baba did is creating Israel. Can you believe this nonsense? Do you know what to answer this person? In a loving way. That the only mistake Baba did is to create him, this person, and his role is to fix this mistake. If you understand what I'm saying, you see, you understand what I'm saying in a humorous way? We are all mistakes of Baba, and we have to correct this mistake. You understand what I'm saying? It's what
I'm not
Baba
sure. No, please explain that a little bit more.
It's our role to reestablish ourselves as spiritual people. As long as we are not completely centered on the truth, on the divine. Baba is saying that we are mad, all of us, because we don't have. I'm not talking about perfect realization. I'm talking about basic realization, and I'm talking about the minimum and the minimal stance, the minimum levels that we have to achieve, which we can achieve in each one of us in lifespan. To have some basic understanding, and don't need to become perfect for this. You don't need to have God realization. That's the whole failure of many of us. Well, I'm not a God realized, so I cannot serve the Lord. It's totally wrong. It's
Question.
totally wrong. We serve whatever according to our capabilities at this moment, and this will bring us through.
I have a question, and everything you're saying, I agree with in my limited understanding. God realization, this is whenever Baba graces some individuals with this. Donald Trump is the ex-president of the United States. Donald Trump is
Yes.
the ex-president of the United States. Netanyahu is the prime minister of Israel.
Okay.
I have had many emotional feelings and negative reactions toward Donald Trump. He's here on trial and he's threatening the judge, he's threatening jurors, he's raped women, he's done many terrible things, and he wants to
Yes,
run for president.
I'm aware of all this. Yes.
Oh yeah, no, it's a fact. He's been in court for raping at least one woman, at least
Okay.
one, and he said if he becomes the president, he said very clearly the things he's going to do, which is going to be a fascist dictator. I mean, he said he will get all the people who have made any kinds of remarks. He's made many threats. And basically, people have said the kinds of things he says, including the blood of America's poisoned, are comments by Adolf Hitler. They say he's following the playbook of Adolf Hitler.
It's following the what?
The playbook, the way Adolf Hitler did what he did rising to power. Trump is doing very similar steps. And not only is he's using the words that Hitler used, poisoning the blood of Germany when he spoke about the Jews, when Hitler would be talking to the masses, getting them very upset and antagonistic toward Jews.
Okay.
And I have fear, like a lot of people in America, if Donald Trump is elected, he grew up with the speeches of Adolf Hitler by his bedside. So really my question is this: how do you internally handle the way Netanyahu has been doing
Can I give you
with
the
the
answer?
war against we I'll say briefly, 30 seconds. We understand in America, at least many of us do, Netanyahu knew about Hamas a year earlier before they planned to attack Israel.
He knew 20 years before.
No, he knew 1 year before Hamas
Okay.
was going to attack.
Yes.
I listened to Israeli news here in America on a program called Jewish Broadcasting Service, and it was mentioned from Israel that shortly before Hamas attacked, a female Israeli officer called a person higher up in
Yes.
the command
Yes.
saying, I am watching Hamas practice their drills that we know about, having even gotten a copy of the plans of Hamas, and do something now, because if you don't, a war is going to follow. She warned these people who are above her. And
There were more warnings. I have listened to many of these talks in Hebrew. I have listened to hundreds of interviews concerning this situation.
Yeah.
About Hitler and about Trump. I can tell you something. It's personal. The mandali complained in the early 40s to Baba there was a Western disciples and mainly who complained to Baba. I think Norina was there. It was it's in Lord Mayor. They complained about Hitler's and how bad he is and this and that. And Baba was listening quietly for a while and then told them like this. We have no understanding whatsoever what's really going on. And he said it
Yeah.
like this, and this is startling. My Nazar, he said, on Hitler. I'm protecting Hitler. He has a role to play. The crazy thing about Hitler is he didn't do anything except yelling and shouting. He was, in a way, a muppet in the hands of the real bad guys, the evildoers, were the circle around him. And they were using him, in a way.
Yes,
But
yes,
all the way he came to power is a mystery till these days. It was just a complete nobody. He was a little bit off-centered. He was a genius in a way. I was read once that he had 150 IQ. This is a very high intelligent quotient, as we call it. And for whatever reason, Baba hinted that, how about this, that Hitler had too much positive sanskar. He was too much of a saintly person former lifespan, and now he moved to the sharp opposite. What do we know about what is behind the veil? And Baba said, you know, they tried to assassinate Hitler 8 times. The Germans, they wanted to get rid of him, of this
yes.
Meshuggah. 8 times, and they didn't succeed. And Baba said in 41, what is going to be the fate of Hitler and Mussolini? He said it exactly what Baba said did happen to them. He said Hitler will commit suicide and Mussolini would be executed or something like this. It's in Lord Mayor, I remember it. Yes?
I want to ask you a question. I apologize for cutting you off. Many, many
Sorry.
years ago, maybe over 40 years ago, I'm with some people who are very, very committed spiritually to God.
Did what?
Um,
Sorry?
40 years ago, I'm sitting down with some people,
Yes?
and there was a gentleman. His first name is Sylvan. I won't say his last name.
Doesn't matter.
And Sylvan mentioned to about 7 of us Sri Aurobindo. You've
Yes?
heard of Sri Aurobindo.
Yes, of
Baba
course.
brought him to the 7th plane, we understand. Sri Aurobindo saw what was happening in the Nazi concentration camps. And short story, long story, that Sri Aurobindo entered the mind of Hitler and disguised himself as a demonic or Teutonic spirit and told Hitler, now go after Russia as your next country, knowing that when Hitler would go after Russia, that the Russians would stop Hitler and beat him and end that war. Are you familiar with this story?
No,
The
but
reason Now, this is what I was told by somebody who I had he's now passed on, Sylvan, but I had a lot of regard for him. And I just mentioned it because usually, maybe never, these gurus let the karma unfold. But the understanding of the story is Sri Aurobindo saw such pain happening to the Christians and the Jews being
Yes.
murdered that he went into Hitler's mindset disguised as this Teutonic or demonic spirit and literally told him, now go attack Russia, knowing that Hitler would lose at that point. I mention it
I think,
because,
okay,
yeah,
yes. So you
please
want to
respond. And,
yes, I can respond to this. I can respond to Mr. Trump and Putin. We had a talk about at the night after last Friday, the guys in the Bear area. You participated. I didn't want to interject. I didn't want to say anything. I said we don't want to give anything to Trump or Putin. I said something like this, and it was quiet. Now I tell you something like this, which I never said before, and I'm dealing. I tell you how I have been dealing with sanskars. I take it. I take the sanskars of this group now. Your sanskars, personally, it's automatic. I send it to Baba. I have no idea what is your position before Baba, if you need it or not. I don't know, but it's automatic. I walk in the street, I collect the sanskars of the people in the street. I take them and fold them, send them to him for his work. I don't know what to do with them because I cannot, but I'm connected to them. And I've connected to Baba. And because of this communication, I can take people who are not connected to Baba. This is the whole point, how important our work has been. That I can work as a proxy. So why does more directly? Because they didn't surrender to him. As long as you didn't surrender to Baba, to the Lord, he cannot help you. This is what happened. This is the scene of the Garden of Eden. We turn our back to the Lord, so he cannot help us. That's what
I'm
he.
very, very, I love Baba I love Baba beyond any words I could express.
Yes,
I'm very, very
yes,
Meher Baba in Meher Baba is my life.
yes.
I am
Okay,
not the best. I'm not the best student in the world. I make many, many mistakes.
that's okay. That's a part of the
Baba,
deal.
Baba in 1972 he gave me a little experience
You
and a
told
vision
us.
of some.
You
Gave me a
told us
little.
your story. You shared it with us.
Yeah, I experienced a little, as you had said earlier, just tiniest little, tinier than just a little bit of his love. So, as you said, you can only take a little because it's
Enough.
infinite.
Split of a second, he zapped my brains 180 degrees. That no, all the psychiatrists and the psychologists in the world won't be able to achieve, even they would work on me, all of them together for 400 years.
So this is
What he could do in a split of
when
a
you
second.
mention this, when you mention what about therapy. So I've been in therapy, and I'm in therapy, and my question is, I does therapy is it appropriate? I'm talking specifically for myself. I'm working with a trauma therapist. His name is
Okay.
Paul Cohen, and he's a very insightful person. I guess my simple question is, does therapy, is it good?
Yes.
Does a Baba lover need to be in therapy
Yes.
as I think one does need to be in it?
Yes.
Because it's part of the healing process.
Of course. You
Okay.
go to the doctor if you have a pain in the finger or in the eye, or the problem is the hair or with the toe or whatever it is, in intestines, and also in your brains and mind. Well, of course, you go to the person
So so
who can.
how do you cope with or how do you accept or how do you work with Netanyahu in your country? And a lot of people in America are looking at Netanyahu as a very terrible war criminal. And
That's not true. That's not true. They don't know what's going on here. They don't know what's going on. That's not true. They're demonizing Netanyahu. He has all kinds of good and bad parts of him. And I'm listening to talks about him from both sides. I'm communicating with some people in this country, well, top experts in the what we call the left wing and the right wing, professors, very important people. Some of them I have had or have some personal acquaintance. Some I have been listening to their talks on the Zoom, not the Zoom talks, on the YouTube talks about all kinds of issues. And the pro and cons about Netanyahu is definitely an unusual character. I'm not concerned at all about Netanyahu, Mr. Trump. And I'm trying to answer a question. I'm here. what would have happened on the 7th of October? We know the plan. We knew it before, and one of our important generals is retired, who have been screaming for many years that the Arabs surrounding Israel have been plotting to destroy, to issue a surprise attack on Israel with tremendous bombardment of missiles non-stop, and within a week, he said, they would succumb Israel, destroy the entire country. Now, if on the morning of the 7th of October, what we call the forces of Hezbollah, which is 10 times stronger than Hamas, would have attacked Israel from the north at noon, both of them would meet in the main square of Tel Aviv. There was no army to stop them. Everybody was sleeping in their beds, all the generals from top to bottom. Now I was a fighter in the Israeli army. And before dawn, everybody would wake up, go to positions, make sure everything is ready for some surprise attack on us. This is pre-dawn drill, mandatory in all fighting units. And I was 27 years in the fighting units in the Israeli army. Some of them I've had a very tough training, and one of them not so much physical, but mental. I've been to many, many wars and skirmishes, and most of them, there was a period before Baba walked into my life, like the 6-Day War, and after that, he walked into my life 72. So all this war from 72 till I was retired from the army, you know, you have to serve. I was serving till the age of 45 because I was a field fighter, and 45 was released, and some people stay longer if they're not field fighters. So I could have volunteered, and I said to myself, after 30 incidents of war, it was enough for me. I have had my lessons, but if Baba would give me the inner instructions to continue staying in the army, I could have stayed as a volunteer. But I decided I have other issues to deal in my life. That this chapter was more or less over, but the fact is, the war never was over. It never will. Not in the offing. Doesn't mean that I'm pessimistic or optimistic. I think there might be some resolution. The human resolution is that people will, the present war, current war in the Middle East, it's a serious issue from the beginning of Islam. I don't know, I could have spent the whole session or a few sessions about the problems of the formation of Islam, because I was dealing with some of our top experts in Islam, top world experts who don't have any influence in the world, doesn't know them. With both of them, I had the personal communication, meaning of talking to them over the telephone, reading the articles, and they gave me permission to translate the articles and to share what they're doing. It's in wrote a whole article about the issue, the problems of the Jews and the Arabs or Islam. I sent it to Betty. If some of you want to read it, I can share it.
Would you like me to forward it to you, Jeff?
Sure,
Sure, I'll do
please.
that. Okay.
Thank you, Betty. So your
Yes.
intention is to be able to promote reconciliation between the Israel people and the Arab people. I gather from what you're saying, whatever Baba will allow you to serve as a peacemaker in peace reconciliation, that is what I'm sensing your communication is with various people at high levels. Am I understanding what you're saying correctly?
What is in Baba's plan, I have no idea, but of course, naturally, automatically, whatsoever he wants, I'll place my life into it. There's no question about this. Of course, would be the very first person would be happy to bring this to trouble the nations at some even a minimum level of mutual understanding. And it reminded me that also on my website, I wrote, Baba wrote through me the very first article I wrote. I told the story in one of my first sessions. That when I got the library from Kerry Ben Shammai, I really had no idea about anything. I was just getting medium English. I could speak English. It was maybe 10-15% of the English I have today because I'm studying English all the time because Baba wants me to study English. That's Baba wants me to do something. That's what I'm doing. I have to put my life into it, to translate his books and to read his books, etc., etc. So gave me a considerably good command of English. Even I never been to the university or academy, but I have some fairly good command of English and other professions and arts. I'm the kind of person who cannot be taught in schools. I usually am autodidact, but it's not exactly like this, but I have to select the proper teacher. And the school, they couldn't teach me anything. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Baba is my tutor. He's the one. And he wants me to understand something. He makes sure that I get the right teachers. Like in music, I had maybe 8 teachers, some of the best in the country, teaching me music. Yes.
Etzion, I wish,
Ye-
Etzion,
Yes, please.
I wish I wouldn't worry, and I wish I could be happy. So Baba says, don't worry, be happy.
Yes, yes.
Be happy in my love.
With Trump, to
Um,
do to deal with Trump now? I
that
can't.
that Bob is running the show, but I begin to worry, and because I'm worrying to some degree, it stops me from being happy. And I'm very grateful to Baba. I have many things that I'm happy about and very grateful for,
Yes.
including just being alive. Just being alive. Baba saved my life many times from death.
Okay.
However, when I think about what's happening to Israel and the threat from Iran, from Hezbollah, from Hamas, and when I think about future future war, and and when I think about what's happening to Palestinians and the tremendous suffering they're going
Yes.
through with starvation, with the attack of the Israeli military, when I think about both countries and both people, there's something inside of me that is just, oh, it's terrible, it's horrible, it's the pain, the suffering, the
Right.
deaths. You see these Palestinians that are so hurt by the bombing, and you see these little babies and they're dead, and I'm looking what the videos are showing me, and I see what happened to the Israelis from the attack of Hamas and the hostages. It
It's
does cause,
mind-boggling. Yes, I
yeah.
understand all this.
So
How to deal with this?
how
How
do
to
you
deal
not,
with it?
how do you not worry, and how do you be happy? I
No,
mean,
I'm not.
that's
I'm not.
uh,
Depends.
I ask you not to stump you with to I ask you because I'd like to know if you have a
It depends on my
if you're
centering on Baba.
if you're
I- I'm
let me
centered
listen.
on him. So if this world will continue or not, by the way, I cannot say what, but during 1774, I received a few powerful insights from him, also concerning Israel. And I cannot say what this.
And
all what I can say responsibly, that I came here to do Baba book. Baba, during, let's say, Obviously, I was born in Israel in 1948, a few days after the Independence Day. So let's say, if we would like to be realistic, of course, I've had some long relationship with him. It goes to a very long time ago. I've had a very special communion with Meir, which goes to ancient times. I know it, cannot say what. Maybe I know what, but I don't think it's correct to say what it is, because it doesn't matter. So something she sent to me something very special way. And you can see on my website letters that Mera sent me. And I was told once it's very rare that Mera was sending letters to, and some of the letters she initiated on her own accord to send me letters of personal concern, greetings for this. There are 8 letters. That's on my website. You can enter the English section, letters, and read the letters from Mera. This is my main treasure. I can't explain the relation between me, myself and Mera. Now, let's take the year 2002. 3 different individuals, not only in Israel, told me that my work in Israel ended and maybe I can go somewhere else. And somebody from the United States, and at that time I'm getting from Bauji, I was in Mehrabad. I used to come like every year, and Bauji one day was telling me, gave me a letter of recommendation. He invited us, myself and my wife, to move to Mehrabad to stay on spiritual training. I was completely amazed. I didn't ask anything from the trust, of course. It was the chairman approached me in person in his office, asked me if I want to join spiritual training Mehrabad. For me, this is dream comes true. Then I started to make plans to give the center to other people and to do this and to do that, all kinds of things. And started to make I started to come a few times a year to make preparations to move to Mehrabad. But now, due to my training, I knew that if I was supposed to go, it's a crossroad of decision. So what I have been trained to make preparation both sides. So I was preparing to leave Israel and to stay in Israel, meaning to let the Babat make the decision, not me, because I prefer to go to Mehrabad. For me, it's Mehrabad. I was doing work for TED and decorating Mehrabad. For me, being in Mehrabad was the most efficient, most practical in Mehrabad at all. Each time I've been there, wanted to make a special art and decorations in the new Pilgrim Center, etc. I was talking to Ted Judson, I want to start the carpentry shop, and he was really drooling when I told him this. He was going like this. They have a metal shop and I want to make a wood shop. And that's my expertise. I'm also a carpenter. I also know how to deal with metal shop. I'm dealing with all these arts. And the Lord decided that I should go back to Israel now. If he sent me back to Israel and my feeling today, I only started my work for him. So what counts? The politics, Israelis, the Arabs, the wars, not wars, or Baba's work. Who is in charge? He is in charge. So why do I care? If he wants to continue the show, he will continue the show. If he wants to make an end to it, he will make an end to it. I'm fine with whatsoever decision he makes, not mine. So I don't care what it's going to be. So I knew that a few months in advance, I knew that we are going to get a very good hard kick in the butt, which came on the 7th of October. I was not surprised about this. I didn't know what would happen. The new half a year or a few months before the war of 73 is that we are going to get, because I saw the inner corruption we tend to get corrupted and arrogant, and the Hebrews, etc., etc. They're human beings. There are lots of problems in this country. It's not exactly the most straightforward country in the world. Not the worst, not the best. The name of Israel is the land of the God-man. Israel is being, the word Israel is from the name of the Lord is Yashar. Yashar is straight, straightforward. Israel is literally the meaning of Israel is a God-man. So to call
Etzion,
Israel, yes,
sorry.
come,
Go
coming
back.
to an end.
No, no, no. We're getting there, but no, that's not what I'm, Huey will come on in, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or so, but we can go until Huey's meeting. Now, I wanted to ask you, so you were invited by Bao, is that right? Chairman of the trust to come and live in Israel? I mean, in India, yeah, Maribah, is that right?
Yeah, he initiated it. I didn't ask for
Yeah,
anything from the
okay.
trust.
And then,
Bauji approached me
yeah.
in writing, gave me a letter
Mhm.
inviting us to move to Merabat.
Wow.
We promised to receive an apartment and whatsoever needed. And I don't want to say it. I tell you something which I never said before. You read my emails with Bauji, and one day he sent me an email if I want to be the next chairman.
Oh my. Oh,
So I said, I wrote a funny skit about building a chair. I made a whole funny shtick from
oh,
this. We didn't make a real. Bauji was looking for various people. He approached various people in the
wow.
world to replace him because he knew his time is coming. It
Right.
was, which year was this? Um, I don't remember. It was not 2002. It was much later. Um, I don't remember. Maybe I still have a copy of this or not. It's on my
So,
old computer. This computer is gone. It didn't make sense to me. And,
uh, well, so then the
yes.
trust, you see, the trust got together and changed their minds, changed? Is that how it went? That,
No, there's nothing to do with the trust.
it was just, oh,
Bauji
oh,
initiated, asked me
oh,
if we want to move to Mehrabad.
he was president. He was president of the trust. So it had
He
something
was
to
a chairman. If
chairman,
he
I'm
is a
sorry.
chairman, he
Yeah,
has the power to
okay.
offer it. And
Yeah.
most likely, if he consulted the trustees or not, I have no idea. But he wrote me an official
Ah,
letter.
I
He gave
see.
me an official
Wow.
invitation so I
Wow.
can give it to the Indian authorities to give me a long-term visa,
Right.
which eventually they did. They gave me, they call it X visa or something for 6 months. And
Mhm.
everybody was surprised. Said this is totally unusual to receive. I think they call it X visa or for 6 months visa. Even I'm not an official. Uh, it was a long-term visa, not just for 2 3 weeks. For
Right. 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 Oh,
and but due to my training, I'm resigned to Baba's will, and of course, it would be much nicer to live in India than to live in this disturbed madhouse. But this is his will. I accept his will, and for me, everything is fine. What is going to be is none of my business. And what I tell you, what happened, Jeff? You brought up Mr. Trump, and you're very worried about him. I don't know if I can say it or not, but of course, I have nothing to do with politics, as I was ordered by Mayor not to deal with this. It's nothing to do with politics. What is politics? I will take sides. Is like Mr. Netanyahu, pro and cons. I have no pro and cons for Mr. Netanyahu or any other leader. I go and vote in the elections as a matter of fact, because this is supposedly my duty. But I know that none of these people have any spiritual understanding whatsoever. None of them is suitable as a leader for the nation of Israel. They have no idea what they're talking about. All of them, none of them, not a single one. So it doesn't matter if Netanyahu puts a, you know what, puts a trained dog to stamp the documents. He's stamping documents. What Trump was doing in the White House, they would give him every day a stack of papers, something like this, and he had to take as a stamp and stamp it and scribble his signature. And as far as concerned, we should take a donkey and put it in the Oval Office to stamp these papers. It would be the same. He is a ruler of the universe. I think the person in the Oval Office is the strongest person in the world. This is absurd, ridiculous. Just who cares? It's nothing to do with it. I don't know what's going to be, if he will be next president, not next president. But not like what our friends in the meeting of the Bear from last Friday spoke about Trump and Putin. We, spiritual people, as a spiritual circle, I used to, when Mr. Trump would come to my attention, automatically I wouldn't fold him with Baba's love and would send him to Baba. This is what I have been doing to Trump, and this most likely I'm doing to Netanyahu and others. And maybe I'm doing it to others, unawares. I don't see what's going to be. But in the beginning, when I started to do this work, I was doing things. I was being directed to do things, ABC. You have to do ABC, and there will be a consequence. As soon as I was taking care of something, I'm not going to say what, I was supposed to take care of something, and there was immediate reaction. And I saw the consequence of this doing right away on the physical plane, good and bad. And it was quite, let's say, you need a very strong heart to accept it, to accept your failures. When you don't do it properly, and you see the negative issues and how it needs to be dealt with to being rectified. It's not a picnic. It's not easy. And you cannot do it without the supervision of the avatar himself. There's no way whatsoever. So I'm telling all the time to people, don't get involved with all these sanskaras. People all the time making bad comments about this and that. I receive it from people because we are supposedly friends on the Facebook, and usually many Baba lovers are attacking Israel all the time, to poor Palestinians and this and that. And I keep on telling them, stay away. Each time you make a comment about the situation, you accept the sanskaras. You don't have anything. You don't understand how to work with sanskaras. So Baba told us in the beginning, simply don't do anything. Stay away. That's all. That's basic. Don't get involved. Keep cool head. Focus on it. That's all what he's asking. Ask us to fix this world? No. What is the original sin? We try to fix the world. You cannot fix the world. You can destroy it, but you cannot fix it. There's no way whatsoever humanity can fix anything, because you don't have, you have to be under the supervision of the perfect masters and avatars. There's no way humanity can heal the situation. It's not possible. They don't know how, because they don't have the spectrum of looking at all the infinite factors involved. There are no human minds. They're not, they can develop now the quantum computers who can make a data of a billion bytes in a trillions of a second. They're building all kinds of stupid. All these machines are nothing in comparison to the intelligence of the avatar. It's so limited, and he's unlimited. We're dealing with a being who has infinite intelligence. It's dealing with infinitude. Well, what do you understand? In order to heal humanity, you have to have a vision which goes millions of years backwards, a million years forward, and then you see the whole picture. And to see the role of how all these humans influence, all these sanskaras are being meshed together. There's no human mind which can figure it out. And we are not being
I'm going to vote for you, Etzion.
Oh, this is Huey. He's
you
gonna
want to
be-
vote for
he's
me?
gonna-
Okay. How much you're paying?
Yeah. Can you?
What are the wages?
The government will figure that out.
One
I'm
one falafel a day at least, I believe.
all right. No, that's a deal.
One falafel. You see, I'm very humble. One falafel a day would do
All right.
the trick. I guess you know what
I want a
falafel is.
falafel too. One falafel. I haven't had a falafel in ages.
Come to Israel. Bring you to
Huey's
the
gonna
best
fix
falafel.
it. He will fix it. He's got the magic. He'll do it.
Yeah,
Ah,
because we'll do it together. You will come here. We'll have a magic. We are going to have a magic falafel and fix the whole world situation.
all right. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so
So far
What?
my internet is working, so I thought I would log on early just to see
oh,
if it
big
was working, and it is. So
crossed.
we'll see how long.
Well,
Yeah,
you fixed it.
maybe.
See, he is magic. He can fix
No, I think, I think AT&T fixed it. I called and complained,
Oh, good.
but then the next couple days it messed up again. For hours it was dead, and then, but today it's all right, so we'll see.
Yay.
No,
Well,
Etzion, I keep looking for any kind of politicians who have any kind of wisdom or vision or
They don't
something
have.
that's more spiritual, and
They don't
it's like an
exist.
impossible world, you know,
They're
what to
not.
do.
You have nobody in the world, not a single person who has any spiritual understanding whatsoever.
You see, I'm gonna vote for you, and if we get
You,
everybody to write it in,
you what?
we'll have to change the Constitution to allow you to become president.
Lutfier,
Yeah.
this is Huey.
Etzion, you were born in the USA, weren't you?
Sorry?
Etzion, you were born in the USA. You weren't born in Kenya or anything like that?
No, I was born in Petah Tikva, Israel.
Where?
I see.
Huey, I want you to meet Lutfier from Egypt. Lutfier, this is Huey, he's magician.
Luthier. Hi, Luthier.
By the
Well,
way,
Hey, Baba.
you keep on
And
recording?
I was gonna say, when should we call it?
Oh,
This is the end of Metzion's meeting and the
yeah.
beginning of Huey's meeting.
Sorry to interrupt.
Well,
I
well, we make a
didn't
vote.
realize.
We're just carrying on.
Yeah.
All right, we'll say this ends our meeting and stay around for Huey if you whoopsie. And that will okay. Stop recording.
Just
All
want to
right.
say thank you. I
Come
want to say
next
thank
time.
you. Etzion, I want to say thank you very much
Yes, you can
for
continue, please.
emphasizing saying nothing negative, and just to remember that Baba is running the show. There's so much that is almost impossible for any of us to understand, and don't say anything negative. And I guess with regard to certain people in political positions, just pray with the intention that they are drawn to Baba and that Baba can bless them in whatever way he can. I really thank you for your beautiful open dialogue today. Means a great deal to hear you speak so freely and openly. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And thank you, Betty,
It
very
reminds
much. And Lucia, nice to meet you too.
I just
Thank you.
what you just said is like there's I don't know, website or a question and answer type of place that I supply answers to how to fix things electronically and whatever. But they also have a bunch of people who do political talk and other, just any topic. And one person was doing a big diatribe on Trump and blah, 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 blah. And I said, you know, Trump needs just an awful lot of love. That really, he really just needs love.
Right.
It's important to do. And the guy replied to me personally, says, you know, you're right. That's true. I still think he should be in chains and in cuffs, but he does need some love. And it struck me that's a good attitude to have, is that politicians in general, they're so stuck, like what Baba said, how politicians can't tell the truth because they have to suit what their constituent wants. They
They're
have
lying
to
all
kind
the
of,
time, all of them.
yeah,
To
so
be a politician, you
they're in
have
a
to
tough
be
position.
cheat all the time.
Ah,
Yeah, well, especially the structure that's there now. I mean, we have a local politician who's she's now retiring, but she's been very resistant to all of that. But it's just a really tough job to uh, do, and to be honest. So anyway, you can
Yeah.
stop the recording here. We don't have to-
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna, okay, all right.
We should
Wait.
keep on stressing as Baba people and Baba lovers. Baba warned us time and again and again and again, all the time. Don't get involved with politics.
Yeah.
The political sanskaras are the worst in the universe. Don't come close to.
They're very divisive.
Don't criticize Trump. Don't criticize Hitler. Don't criticize, because first we don't know what is behind the veil. And according to Baba's hints, Mr. Hitler released hundreds of millions of people from their sanskaras and other all kinds of mishuganers over the ages. And because of these mishuganers who committed the horrendous crimes, many people who suffered could have entered the spiritual path. And that's worth all the suffering in the world.
Yeah.
And by the
And-
way, I listened to the talk of Peter Nordin, and he suggested that Genghis Khan became Baidul, if I'm not wrong. So what do we know about all this? And also Napoleon was one of the mandali, if I'm not
Yeah,
wrong.
but there's only, yeah, and there's only one thing you missed, that it is okay to criticize Etzion. That's fine. Because he
ahead.
will be benefited. Yeah.
Go ahead and keep on criticizing. It's good for you. Keep on doing
It's
it.
good for you. No, we need to do it because it helps you,
And
All
I
right.
think, or
Enough
something.
of this. We're
Well,
moving on.
if I criticize,
I don't recommend it, of course.
if I criticize
Uh,
somebody while I'm doing Baba's work, I help him to free him from sanskaras, because I don't get it to myself. I send it to Baba. It's
Right.
all
Oh,
for me.
good, good. All
That's why
right.
I keep on telling my stories, how Baba trained me to work with sanskaras. I take it on me and I give it to him. So
Okay.
All
when
right.
I'm dealing with Mr. Trump or Mr. Netanyahu or with you, I give these sanskaras, and now I'm dealing with you. We are sharing sanskaras now. I give it to Baba automatically.
Great, great. So you better start criticizing me.
Yeah, you I know you.
Well, I
you-
have
I'm
lots
watching
of
the
them
I'm
to
watching
get
the
rid of.
AGT.
Okay.
You know what is AGT? The world contest of magicians, etc. And I saw some magicians. Maybe you should tell
Yeah.
us some of their tricks.
Mm.
Say Avatar Mayor Baba ki jai.
Key J, Avatar Mayor Baba Key J. Press the stop button.